You're trying to word trap him into like overthinking.
Just told him
things.
something nice.
Yeah, but you said it in a way. Oh, I know we're live, Joey.
No. I wasn't saying it in that way. I was literally saying, like, you know what? He don't stay down. He always gets back up all the time. That's what I was just sitting here thinking.
It seemed to me like you were baiting him by saying that.
That's not what I do. Since when do you know?
Let him off the hook this time.
That's not what I do, man. It's not how I roll, sir.
All right.
Literally giving this man a nice thing to say, because I was like, you know what? Joey don't never stay down. He always comes back.
Hello, Bulls Nation.
That's D Wade. That's D Wade stuff, sir.
Whoa.
Get knocked down 7 times, get back up 8.
Whoa. What?
That's D Wade stuff.
Why is that
literally
D
D
Wade
Wade stuff? That's what he says all the time. Get knocked down 7 times, get back up 8.
We're talking about a different D Wade than Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, no,
sir.
that has nothing
That's
to
what
do
he
with
does.
him.
That's exactly what he does.
Get
sir.
Dwayne Wade
knock
out
down 7, get up 8, man.
Show.
You know what I mean? It doesn't stop. He continues on. Boom, boom, boom. It's an awesome thing, man.
No,
because I know it because I was thinking about softball. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking about in my head. Like, man, he really does. He really does his thing. And I appreciate that. That's all.
Are y'all confused? Because I am. Hi, welcome to CHGO Bulls Postgame.
You wanted to come in my brain. That's your fault. It's completely your fault.
I've been living there since 2018.
You know what? You do have a little space.
Yeah.
You do got a little space. That's true.
CHGO Bulls Postgame is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download their app. Be sure to use promo code CHGO when you do. Mm-hmm. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. My guy Big Dave is at BAL, BAWL Sports. Joining us again for postgame tonight, it's our guy Kyle Williams. Follow him on Twitter at K_Williams Media. And our pal producer Joey, who's already chiming in. He is at Joey Spathis.
DJ.
Joey 1K. Are we at Joey 1K yet?
Ooh.
Hey, we're not even at Joey 900 anymore.
Right.
What?
He went backwards.
What?
He literally
We're
went
going this
the
way?
other way.
Backwards. Wait, that way?
I don't know how that worked, but he went backwards.
Let's see, actually. Hold on.
I don't get live update.
We're Joey 902K.
Hey!
Not K.
902,000.
Not K. Just
Wow.
Joey 902.
Joey 902. All right. Joey 902.
Well then, follow him at Joey Spathis to get that man to 1K.
Get him there.
We are CHGO_Bulls. Bulls fall short against KD and the new look Suns. 125-104 is the final. The Bulls fall to 29-35. 6 games under 500. 2 games back in the race to get to 10th and squeak into that play-in with 18 games to play. Gentlemen, this was an interesting game for 3-ish quarters. Back and forth. Suns took the first quarter. Bulls rallied strong to take a lead into the half. Even started to slowly and minimally build that lead in the early third quarter. And then the wheels fell off. Look, this is a very difficult Suns team to guard now.
Fact.
You saw them running just some simple stuff. They ran some horns. They ran some off-ball screens for Devin Booker,
yes,
which are easy to do when Kevin Durant is the one holding the ball on the other side of the floor. It's just like the Bulls, as much as we've been trying to prop them up as is this defense real, as we've been talking about their defensive rating since January, an offense like this Suns offense gives you a quick, ugly slap-in-the-face reminder that there are only so many things this Bulls defense is capable of when they go up against something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, they started off, and you could tell the game plan was, okay, the best players on the team, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, we're going to try to take them out the game. But they didn't think about Josh. And Josh said, you know what? I'm still here. Let me go ahead and ball out, because he had 25 big points for them, man.
18 in the first half.
Yes, 7 of 15 shooting, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. And he really did do it all. He honestly did. He was everywhere on both sides of the ball, and a complete problem for the Bulls, man. So I just want to give him his props, because he really did a great job. So when that ball was swinging, he was just wide open in the corner, top of the key, either one, and was draining them. Like you said, in that first quarter, he was on fire. And then in that fourth quarter, it was the star time. You know, it was time for the stars to finish it off. You saw Chris Paul hitting those huge threes. You saw Kevin Durant hitting those big shots. And the offensive rebounding. I mean, it's been what it is all season long for the Bulls, but it feels like it's just on more display when you play teams like this. You know, it is more crushing when you play teams like this, because they had themselves, you know, kind of in the game. I didn't really feel like they were going to win, but I was like, maybe they could keep it close the entire game. But those offensive rebounds, Kyle, that'll definitely put a team right out of there. And you can't do that against a team like the Suns.
No, you can't.
they're mistake proof.
Right,
You can't,
exactly.
You can't make a mistake against them. And then with the offensive rebounds, if you're the Bulls, the most frustrating ones have to be where the ball is just being tipped around and then it's corralled by the Suns, or like a loose ball that just no Bull somehow gets. And those are the ones that hurt when it's a 50-50 ball, like I believe Stacey mentioned on the broadcast. And it's a season-long problem. And then offensive rebound and three-point shooting, like, will do you in, especially against a team where Kevin Durant is getting a screen set from Chris Paul to get the point guard to switch onto him.
Yeah.
And then Devin Booker spotting up in the corner. What do you do?
It's a scary thought. And
What do you do?
It was scary to just sit there and watch, because I'm thinking the whole time about, man, teams in the West are going to have to defend this in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you stop that pick and roll. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like they have guys who are the best at certain things.
Yeah.
You know, on the court. You know, you have one of the guys, one of the best mid-range shooters ever. Then you have another guy who has been one in Devin Booker, who has been one of the best shooters, mid-range and three-point. He's been one of the best shooters. Then you have a point guard who people say is the best argue is the best point guard, but one of the best pick and roll point guards ever. You know what I mean? Like, they have all these things on their team, and then you throw in Ayton with that, you know what I'm saying, who's a very solid basketball player. He only had 7 points and 3 rebounds tonight, but he's really, really good. But, yeah, they're just really stacked. And that boy Landale,
Yeah,
he was
Jock
killing.
Landale.
Josh Landale was
Shout
killing
out
the
to
Bulls.
our friends over at PHNX.
Yes, shout out.
He is their version of Io with us.
Yes.
He is like a part of PHNX. But today, I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yes.
Because he was pulling down offensive rebound after offensive rebound. He only got credited with 4 in the box score. I swear he should have gotten credited for 8.
Yeah.
Some of them were just, tapping loose balls, creating havoc under the rim.
Right.
I mean, you can't a team like the Suns who shoot 50% from the field, 42.5% from downtown tonight.
Right.
You can't afford to give that team 20-something points and second chance points.
Yeah.
You can't.
You have to be like you said, mistake proof. You know what I'm saying, against this squad. Anytime you make that mistake, they're going to make you pay every single time. Like you said, those 50-50 balls, those steals, even when you miss technical foul shots like Zach missed. Like, you can't do that against this team. Those are just opportunities for them to increase their lead and continue, imposing their will on you.
Yep. Like, it's just, from a Bulls standpoint, you have those turnovers when, like, Io turns down an open shot and tries to attack the basket, and they call him for traveling.
Yeah.
And you called it out. You say he did travel.
Yeah.
And it's just those little things. Like, the Phoenix Suns scored 139.8 points per possession, according to Cleaning the Glass, which is in the 98th percentiles. And their offense is lethal, but the Bulls were in this game, but it felt as they could never get into striking distance enough to really threaten.
Right.
And the Suns, when they need to, they know how to give it to KD, credit to them. They made some tough shots. Like, Devin Booker hit a fading fall away off the glass.
Fading fall away off the glass in the second half.
That was a tough shot.
What the hell was that?
And it's just one of those things. Sometimes you just have to chalk it up. But, I mean, the Bulls didn't do themselves any favors with the missed free throws. I believe DeMar missed one as well. And it's just, you have to play perfect.
Yeah.
DeMar missed 3 free throws tonight.
Yeah, man. Like, and another thing you're just not used to seeing is him missing free throws. Like I mentioned, Zach missing his, and Zach was, he played solid. I really thought he played really good, but the 2 of 7 from the 3-point line, knowing you're the shooter for the Bulls.
Yep.
It's got to be better than that, man. I believe were both of them catch and shoots for him, or was that rainbow?
The rainbow at the end of the first half
The self-create.
was not a catch and shoot.
Okay,
He had a couple of dribbles.
Then the
before
other
that.
one was a catch and shoot. The one Kobe, when he went to the bucket,
He had one
found
catch
him on
and
the
shoot in the corner.
baseline.
Yeah.
Caught him on the catch and shoot. But yeah, man, he's got to be better than that. Only because he's the shooter. Yeah. He's the 3-point shooter. So if you don't got it, nobody got it. That's just how that goes, man. And the Bulls started off strong in that first quarter. Yeah. They tried their best. Like, Caruso did what he could. Hit his 3, and they played the defense they were supposed to. But again, it just looked like a team going up against a team that's ready for a whole nother level of basketball, and you're just not there yet. It's just really that simple.
And Kobe White.
Yeah.
They just frankly need more from Kobe White.
Yeah.
Like 5 points, 2 3-point attempts, 3 shots overall. Mm-hmm. Kobe White's best attribute is that he can put the ball in the basket.
Fact.
And if he's not going to put the ball in the basket, that's a problem. And frankly, it hinders the team in the short term and the long term. And
true.
he did have one in the first half. He drove and passed it over to, I believe it was Levine in the corner. And it was like, that's a good point guard play. Next play down, went to the free throw line on the fast break, but just few and far between. Sometimes you forget Kobe White's even out there. And then Andre Drummond, his two missed dunks, perfect defense
3.
by the
I think
rim.
he had 5 tonight.
I know he had 3 for sure.
2 of 6 from the field with 33% from a center who only takes shots in the paint is
It's not good.
it's not good.
It's not good. Not good, man.
He was 2 of 6 tonight, which means he was 2 of 6 on dunks tonight.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
And another, like you mentioned, the big man, just another game, where Vooch, he didn't have his best game either. 13 and 9 for Vooch, but 6 of 15, shooting. He only took 3 threes, so you can't blame it on that.
Yeah.
But just the 6 of 15. I need him to stop taking this fadeaway. I'm seeing him take more now for some reason.
Yeah, that
I need him
short
to stop
mid-range
that.
fadeaway.
Yeah, man.
You're starting to see him shoot that more over the last month or so.
Yeah, I need
and every
him to
time
cut
he shoots
that
it,
out.
you and or I are like, ugh, I don't love that
Yeah,
shot.
he's got to cut that shit out, bro, because it ain't him. You know what I mean? Like he's inside with it. He's not fade away outside with it.
Right.
He's more stand. Set shot. You got me open. I'm gonna hit that jumper, like you saw him
Right.
do tonight. He's gonna hit that J. He's gonna take that 3. But if he's got to create it, no. His creation comes when he can actually get to the bucket and get those hook shots. Get those up and unders. That's when he does his thing. But that fadeaway, that's Hakeem Olajuwon territory, bro.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he ain't in that territory.
I mean, like Kyle, when you talk about this team's lack of room for error, mistakes, giving a team of the Suns' caliber bonus chances of scoring and things like that, I mean, how many of the Bulls' problems come back to the fact that they're playing from behind every night because of their dearth of three-point ability?
Oh, what a word.
I mean,
What a word. You heard that too? Son.
look it up. It's a word, Joe.
Hit you with it. I love it.
The Suns made 20 of 47 tonight behind the three-point line. The Bulls attempted 23 and made 7.
Oh,
They barely paced the Suns' makes with their attempts and shot just barely 30% on that minuscule number of attempts. 20 of 40. I mean, that's high.
Yeah,
Nobody in the
it's
NBA
up
is
there.
averaging 47 threes a game. That's
Fact,
high.
fact.
But they made 20. Take 47 threes, make 20 of them. That is a win.
that's a win every day of your life.
You know what's not a win? The Bulls losing to the three-point scoring margin of tonight's contest by 39 points. How the hell do you win games with that?
Like, I'm just going to read off the top leaders in the three-point percentage from teams.
Okay.
The Denver Nuggets, the Brooklyn Nets, Golden State, Philadelphia, the Boston Celtics. Aside from Brooklyn is a whole nother thing in itself.
Right.
But those other 4 teams are credible playoff caliber teams. The 2 teams after them, the Clippers and the Suns, and then Portland, Dallas, and Sacramento.
Okay. So all of them except maybe Portland.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least playoff bound.
So 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 are at least playoff teams with championship aspirations.
Wow.
You have to be able to shoot. And we keep harping on it because it's so important to this team, and they neglected to address that in the offseason. And now you're seeing the comeuppance. Like,
Come on, Kyle.
it's just frustrating. Like, Kobe White, like I mentioned earlier, is one of their best 3-point shooters, but when he's reluctant to shoot, it's glaring.
Yeah.
Like,
Took two threes tonight.
2 threes, and it's hard to win a game when you're not attempting the 3-point shot now.
True.
And give DeMar his credit, but like 13 for 18, 1 3-point attempt, and then you have Patrick Williams who missed both of his.
Right.
Levine, like you mentioned, was 2 for 7, and it's just very hard when you're not surrounding your best players with shooting or getting easy points in the paint. It's just hard to win this way.
Yeah, and even watching guys who know when to take the 3, they still aren't known to hit the 3.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Patrick Beverly.
Yep.
We saw him take the 3, and I'm like, that's the right shot, but I know it's not going in. But you're supposed to take that shot because it was open and available to you and within the rhythm of the offense.
Caruso too, from I believe it was like the left wing in the second half.
Yeah. Every time Caruso shoots a three, though, I just wince. It's like, there's just no faith that it's going in.
Zero faith, man. Zero faith that any of that is happening. But you can say that about several players. You know what I'm saying, on this team, unfortunately.
But if Caruso doesn't take 4 threes tonight, the Bulls as a team don't make it to 20 3-point attempts.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, you're asking him to do something that he doesn't really do. And not only asking him to do it, you're dependent on it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what is really the actual issue. You are dependent on somebody to do something they don't do. You know, I can't write left-handed, but you want me to write this book with my left hand.
It's like that Mitch Hedberg bit that, okay, so you're a comedian, can you act? And he compares it to someone saying, like, oh, okay, you're a cook, can you farm?
Right. Exactly, man. Like, no, you cannot. And that's what we're dealing with. And again, like you said, Kyle, it was something they didn't address in the offseason, but it's something they didn't address in season either.
Nope.
When they had opportunities to. And it's going to just continue to, reveal its ugly face and its ugly head. And you're going to see it every single game, man. And, yeah, it's disappointing because watching this game, the reason it felt so insurmountable was because of that. Because you didn't have that three-point shooting. That's why you were like, oh, man, there's no way they're coming back from this 7-point deficit right here because you can't answer them when they're hitting their threes.
When the Suns went up by 3, I looked at you and I was like, well, it's over.
To be fair.
Thank goodness the lead didn't stay at just 3, though.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
What was I saying in pregame? Well, so I was talking about my same game parlay,
So
which
what do we
didn't
say?
hit. So what do we say? It's okay because I got a bonus bet back on the parlay. You know, it did hit. But I didn't want to say in pregame because I didn't want Bulls fans mad at me. But I looked at you and I was like, 3.5? That's it?
That's it?
Our Bulls?
Yeah.
Against that Suns team that
We're
just
taking
added
that.
Kevin Durant to it? Let me get some money on Suns to cover. Did it easily. If you caught the hint I was making in pregame, you're welcome.
Good looking out. Matthew Peck cares about the people.
And like when how teams put defenses in rotation, and that's like the goal of any given possession. When the Bulls put teams in rotation, it goes nowhere because, like you mentioned, Patrick Beverley shooting a 3, Caruso shooting a 3, and so it's just you're playing into the other team's hand when those are the guys taking shots. We saw it the other night with Toronto; they just neglected some shooters.
Yeah.
Yes, but what if we went small ball and then it was Derrick Jones Jr. out there shooting threes instead of Drummond bricking dunks? See, now we got to start playing 4-dimensional chess, Kyle.
Your brain hurts.
Yes, it does.
Billy Donovan has a tough. Like, imagine you're Billy Donovan. I need shooting. Okay. Dalen Terry, Derrick Jones Jr. Where do you go? Like,
Right.
Where do you go?
Like, we talk about the Billy haters in Bulls Nation often because they're often hanging out in our comments.
Sure.
Certain elements of what Billy's done or failed to do this season, I understand that does warrant criticism. Like, as I was fevered and watching them cough away that lead to the Pistons a couple nights ago, Zach was on a heater and couldn't get the ball in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That was driving me crazy.
One field goal.
That's something that Billy can and should address.
Correct.
When you're talking about the overarching failures of this roster and the first person you point to blame is Billy, that's like, Kyle, what you just said, I still do not understand people who see that.
Yeah, like when you don't have 3-point shooting on here, it's just going to make it more difficult. And again, that's something I do not put on Billy Donovan at all. Like, again, who does he turn to? Who do you look to down your bench? Even Malcolm Hill, I said, C-Ray, UK, if only we had kept Malcolm Hill, Peck would have lost his bet.
Okay, remember when I started to say something late in the fourth and then stopped saying something? I was about to make a joke about Malcolm Hill.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, I don't want to jinx it.
All right.
Shout out to our guys, C-Red UK.
But dude, and Malcolm Hill was, a 3-point shooter, and Bulls got rid of him. But I don't even fault Billy for not looking down the bench at him, even though I did want to see him play because you had no shooters. You know what I mean? You might as well play somebody. But if I'm clamoring for Malcolm Hill, then it's a problem.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That
That's
tells
the issue.
you where you're at.
Exactly.
I
That
think
is
we've
an
got
issue.
some happy Bulls fans tonight. Over the last couple of weeks, I've seen people in our comments being like, yo, give Carlik Jones a chance. Like, did you see him shooting up these threes in our Windy City Bulls games?
Again, this is my point. Like, look what we clamoring for here.
If Carlik Jones needs to be your hero, there's a bigger problem.
You don't have a hero. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't put that on the third string quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not fair.
Yeah, and in Peck, it goes back to what you were talking about. We were talking about this during the game, actually. Like, the room for development just isn't there with younger guys, too, because they're not, like, centering around development in these remaining games. They're trying to win. They're trying to make the play-in.
Right.
So, like, the odds of them giving guys like Curly Jones or if Malcolm Hill was on the team a chance, it's just they want to win now, but some of the players that they have need to play the development. It's just a weird situation there.
Very weird situation, man. Very weird. But with all that said, Zach should still be taking 10 threes a game.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to get up 10, dog.
Yeah.
I want to see 2 for 10, not 2 for 7. Like, he's got to get more threes up, seriously.
He does. I mean, okay, we got to take a break. Still more to get to on tonight's game and what the Bulls should be doing from here. And we've got some Super Chats on deck. We will get to those as well coming up after the break. Big Dave, who do we have first up?
Chicago!
Hello?
You already got the best coverage of your favorite sports teams. That's this right here. So get fitted out in the best sports gear around, and you get that from FOCO. Because FOCO, they got you covered from Soldier Field, not for long from Soldier Field, to the living room, north or the south side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in betwixt. Get decked out like DeMar with apparel from the leader in sports merch and collectibles. Who that is? FOCO. Looking for that perfect gift for the football fan in your life? Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, don't matter. They got you covered with those hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. So check out FOCO.com or click the link in your description below for all non-pre-sale items and use that promo code CHGO for 10% off because it's FOCO. Faux show. Like that dramatic pause, right?
Yeah,
You felt that?
you built it up.
My man.
The sip and satisfaction pause?
Yes.
That was very nice. What do you call that? That sound that you make after a sip?
That's a good
Is there
question.
a word for that sound?
That's a very good question. Damn.
What do you think, Joe?
Joey, what you got?
What do you think, Dictionary Joe?
Dictionary? Joey Dictionary?
I just have the sound effect for it.
Oh, you was tossing in the sound effect?
You didn't hear it?
Say it again.
Oh, we have one of those.
Nice. All right.
Nice soundboard work there from Joey
Good job.
Skittles.
Good.
Tonight's postgame also brought to you guys by our friends at Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. We're getting so close to golf season.
Oh.
Spring's around the corner.
Can't wait.
Dodged a bullet. There was supposed to be like a foot of snow on the ground right now. Everybody knock on wood. We love our
please.
Pins and Aces gear and get tons of compliments on and off the course. They're family-owned golf and apparel business. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and my favorite thing,
What's that?
their beer sleeve.
Beer sleeves.
I mean, talk about just the greatest invention in the world. An innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers, not 6, 7. You get yourself a sixer, get a side roadie, put them together, that's 7. Right inside your golf bag, and keep those beers ice cold for your entire round.
Say a side roadie?
Unless you're a bad golfer and it takes you a long time to finish a round, then pick a different hobby. Check out pinsandaces.com. Use promo code CHGO to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's Pins and Aces, spelled out, pinsandaces.com. Promo code CHGO.
Very nice. Do you play golf, Kyle?
Never played golf
Never
before.
played? Okay.
But-
Never once.
Okay.
You're not missing much.
Amateur, like, what do you call that golf? With the windmill and all that?
Mini golf?
Mini
Thank
golf?
you very much.
Oh, I've
Mini
done
golf.
Miniature
I've done some mini
golf?
Mini golf? Okay.
I've
all
indulged
right.
in some mini golfing.
Okay, all right. Did you like it? It was good?
Mini golf is fun.
Mini golf is fun? All right, all
Mini
right.
golf is fun.
All right, all right.
Being on a range, I'm not sure that's for me.
Okay, I got you.
I pitched him this before. I'm going to pitch you now. You got to come play Frisbee golf sometime.
Frisbee golf.
Uh-huh.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
Frisbee golf.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah. I get it. It's a white people hippie sport. I get it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's so much more fun than regular golf.
Uh-huh.
And it's free.
Well, to be fair, the only reason I knew of it was Seinfeld. That's the only reason I even heard of that before. Was George Costanza out there playing that.
Okay, so watching an episode of Seinfeld that features Frisbee golf, fun. Playing Frisbee golf, way better.
Okay. But the fact that, when he played it, you know, is because he bought those toxic envelopes that murdered his wife. So not a nice attachment, you know, to Frisbee golf.
Seinfeld isn't real, Dave.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry to tell you this.
Wait.
I know. Seinfeld isn't real.
I don't have time for this.
Okay.
I don't have time for this, sir. This is a distraught moment for me right now.
I'm sorry.
It's not a documentary?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I know we have a couple of super chats. Before we get to those real quick, I just wanted to kind of like regroup after this loss and check in with you about how you feel. Joey, how you feel. How do you out there in Bulls Nation feel? 29-35 after this loss tonight, which means, hello, the Bulls are in 11th. They are two games behind the Wizards and Raptors for the 9th and 10th spots. They got 18 games to play. When we were sitting here, whatever that was, a week and a half ago, after that blowout win over Brooklyn.
Yes.
And you were here being all meathead Dave.
Damn right.
Enjoying the moment, enjoying the blowout victory.
That wasn't meathead.
The immediate impact of playoff Pat Bev, play-in Pat Bev. And I sat right here and said, that's the bounciest dead cat bounce I've ever seen bounce.
You definitely said that.
The Bulls then get another blowout win after the Nets win. They then drive us crazy with turnovers and second chance points allowed in the loss to Toronto. Then we watch them nearly blow a 20-point lead to the Pistons of Detroit.
Yes.
And then they get worked by a much better Suns team the way they do down the stretch tonight.
Correct.
Do you feel any differently now than you did watching the Pat Bev Bulls blow out the Brooklyn Nets a while back as far as what you want to see happen to this team in the final 18 games?
Well, see, it's one thing I've continually said this. This is a game-by-game basis for this team. So when they win a game, I'm going to be happy. Like, that's it. And I kept saying that the entire time I was ranting. I am happy about this win tonight. I will deal with tomorrow. This is all I can deal with right now is they got this victory. They got this win. I'm not silly. I know what's waiting down the road, and I know what's happening for them then. And the fact they couldn't get that win, who was the win that they lost to? The Raptors. The fact they couldn't get that win against the Raptors was huge. You know what I mean? Because that was the one to propel them actually into the play-in and give them, you know, that leap over Washington, you know, because they hold that tiebreaker. So then if you play this game right here, you know, it doesn't hurt you so hard, you know, because you're like, oh, I still own this tiebreaker and things like now you're set back 2 games, you know, so it hurts a little bit more, you know, because now you have a bigger task to overcome, you know, bigger thing to overcome for the Chicago Bulls. Do I feel any different? No, I feel the same about the Bulls and the play-in and things like that, but
still would rather see them make the play-in than lose 18 to the next 18 to maximize their odds at keeping that top 4 pick.
Yeah, because again, you say if that was more of a guarantee, I'd be with you. It's not.
Mean, you saw those odds that Will was reading out to us a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, it was like 8%.
It was like 8% they make the playoffs, 7.5% they keep a top 4 pick.
Yeah. Win the lottery.
7.5% winning the lottery outright.
Outright.
Odds of a top 4 pick are greater than that.
I'm a Bulls fan, man. I don't believe in this. That's not how I roll.
Yeah.
That's not how I roll, man. I'm here. This team is put together to go to the playoffs. If they're going to lose out that 18, then fine. Then go on and lose out. They're not going to tank to do it. They're just going to have to lose. They're just going to have to take them L's.
They clearly won't tank.
Yeah, they're not going to tank. If they lose and we get to there, fine. All right, great. But I'm not here to tank, bro. Like, they want to go to the playoffs. That's the goal for the team. That's the one they're striving for. That's the one I'm rolling with, man.
0-18. Sorry. Please.
At
this point, it feels wrong for me to say. I love the Bulls, but it's coming from a place where it's like when we're doing this next year, I just want to have something hopeful to talk about and a reason to be watching and feel good about where the direction of this team is. And right now, what in my heart of hearts gives this team the best chance to turn things around, I think is keeping that top 4 pick.
Kyle, where do you stand?
I kind of side on this. The play-in is just continuing the cycle of mediocrity at this point. And right now the Bulls are in a similar place with Portland in a way. Portland's 29-34. The Bulls are in a similar position, and it's just where are they going from here? Like, what's going on in the offseason that's going to change? And I just think the play-in is just going to be either more of disappointment, frankly, or more of what we've seen from this team. This team is who they are at this point, and I mean, get the chance to keep your pick in one of the most loaded drafts in recent memory, particularly when next year's draft isn't as hyped or as promising. I think the Bulls should go and try and maximize those small chances they have.
Yeah.
And I don't see it but my thing is I don't see it happening for them.
That's fair.
What I see is them, for me it is worse to not win any of this and go into the offseason and not get a top 4 pick. Because then everything you're saying is more magnified about where the hell are you going? What the hell are you doing? You're definitely truly on a bigger boat right there that's ready to sink if that shit does not come through. That's how I look at it. I'm like, they're not getting that pick, man.
And let's be real, the only other way that the Bulls can improve their roster this offseason, assuming what we know about this franchise and them not paying the luxury tax, is getting players back in a trade for one of their big three, a sign-in trade if it were Vooch, that are ready to contribute now caliber players. That's the only way this roster is changing / improving this offseason. They have basically zilch as far as cap flexibility coming into this offseason. We were talking about the difficult decision they have facing them. Can you only keep one of Kobe or Io? And which one do you keep?
Right.
Do you want to keep Vooch around on another short-term deal that's a vet but not insulting to him, but less than his current contract? Right. How do you make that work? Do you want to trade one of Zach and or DeMar to try and mix things up and get a better-fitting roster?
Yeah.
But like adding around the edges to this, I don't think that works, and I don't know the Bulls have a path to do that.
Yeah,
which is why some Bulls fans are saying, man, this is maybe a top 4 caliber draft talent this summer is the best chance the Bulls have at getting better now.
It is, if you get that top 4 pick. But in your heart, do you believe the Bulls are getting that top 4 pick?
Well, no. Because we all sat here and watched Nico Mirotic winning streaks ruin draft picks, and Sean Kilpatrick winning streaks ruin draft picks.
But that's kind of where I'm at.
Which is why I was sitting here in December and even early January saying, I don't want to tank. Tanking sucks. It's not fun, and we know it, and we've been there, and it doesn't always work. And that goes back to your whole thing about player development, Kyle. Because I saw our buddy Rob in the comments said, I'd much rather watch us lose 18 games with Dalen, Pat, Io, Kobe, all playing more minutes. Here's the problem with that.
Oh, huge problem.
Mutiny of the veterans.
Immediately.
Are you kidding me?
Immediately.
What do you think the response would be if AK and Billy called a meeting / practice, whatever? We're like, all right, guys, here's the drill. Zach, DeMar, Vooch, really appreciate you guys.
Right.
Great vets. Had a fun run. We're going to go a different direction next season, so y'all be riding the pine for the last 18 games.
Because the time to do it was the trade deadline.
Bingo.
That was the time to do it. If you're going to do that, that's where you do it. Because then, guess what? Then you can say, I can get assets for these guys. I get draft picks for these guys and develop the young guys and do it like that. But they told you they weren't going to do that. They was like, this isn't our plan. We don't want to do it this way. This is how we want to go about it. So that's why I'm like, well, for me, it's no point to it anymore because I don't see it. I don't see that top 4 pick coming to the Chicago Bulls. It's just not in my view, man. So I'm like, fine, go to the playoffs, go to the play-in, then make your trades after that. Then that's when I think, because regardless, it's trades coming. That's my opinion in the offseason. You're not holding on to this. That's just my opinion. Something's going to change. Things will change for the Bulls in that way. But my God, if they weren't going to do it at the trade deadline, and they still wouldn't give me no shooters, so something you need to help you get to the playoffs at the trade deadline. No, it wasn't going to happen, dog. So yeah, I'm like, go to the playoffs then. Fine, do that.
Zach LaVine's going to have a $40 million salary on the books next year. Then DeMar with $28 million, and then Lonzo Ball with $20 million. And to me, that's the biggest. That's the elephant in the room right there. Is that Lonzo Ball contract?
Yes.
Because now it went from being a potential steal of a contract last year to that is the anchor holding them back.
Taking that $20 million to put towards one very good or two mediocre 3-and-D players to add to this roster next year.
Yep. It changes things. It changes
a lot. Changes a lot.
Changes the calculus, and with Lonzo, like with his future unknown, this is now Lonzo's in a waiting pattern. Mm-hmm. The Bulls are in a waiting pattern because of Lonzo, and now it's just. But I do agree with you, Big Dave, in that the time to do the blow up was at the trade deadline, and they neglected to do so, and now they just kind of have to deal with the results. And
what was even more frustrating, Kyle, about it wasn't a blow up and it wasn't an improvement. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you didn't get either of it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get to say, okay, well, I know what this road this team is on. They want to play for the future. They want to play for the draft pick. Yeah. You didn't get to say, I know this team is trying to go to the playoffs. They got some shooting. They're trying to improve. You got neither of those things from the Bulls, and that's why we're at where we at.
But you're not losing Zach and DeMar yet. You still have a season of control to trade DeMar.
That's what I'm saying.
You still have 5 years to trade, or 4 years to trade Zach. So I'm just, it's the Vooch one is the one where it's like you probably just let him, if that's the direction they take, then they let him walk for nothing. But, there still could be a potential sign and trade. But
yes,
it's not, I don't think it's too late for them to go in that direction because, like, Zach LaVine is a talented player with 4 years left on his deal.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What direction when you say that?
To go towards the bottom. Like, they've got players on their team that they failed to sell off at this deadline, but Zach's still under contract for 4 seasons.
It's too late, bro. Because, again, you can't explain that to DeMar DeRozan and Vooch and those guys. And Patrick Beverley, like, you can't explain that to them that you're tanking right now.
Yeah, but what's – I don't know.
But that's the only thing. Because – and especially Patrick Beverley, a dude whose whole track record is I've made the playoffs every year I've been in the league. You can't say, Pat, we know what you came here for to do, but now we're not going to win. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and have a seat on the bench.
Yeah, but to me, it's like future of the franchise.
I feel you.
Piss off Pat Beverly.
I feel you.
Why do we care about the feelings of?
Well, who is the we here?
The Bulls.
Because if the we is the people who run the team, they've never cared about the future of the franchise. They've always cared about the future of the thickness of their wallet. We all know that to be true. We don't give a crap if this team wins a championship anytime soon. We all know that. We root for them regardless because
we love the Bulls.
What's the phrase?
Bulls fans.
Hopeless romantics is the phrase I was trying to think of.
All right.
But yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing about pissing off Pat Bev is like it doesn't matter in the short term, but from just a league perception, that I think how you treat a veteran like that does kind of hold weight and matter amongst players at least. Mm-hmm. And like Pat Bev could have went, I mean, I don't know what his free agency was looking like, but he chose to come here to help change the culture and help a team that he thought was trying to make the playoffs.
Yes.
And to just turn around and be like, no, we're actually going to play the young guys more, and we're going to try, like, you can do it. It just wouldn't be a good look for your perception in the rest of the league.
Sorry, I want to say I'm not suggesting that they're going to or have really any option to say, like, we're just straight up going to rest our good. It's not. It's too obvious. Like, there's
Adam
not
Silver
even making up an injury or anything. But it's like, in my opinion, that's what the hypothetical best case scenario would put this team in a good position. They're not.
Yeah.
It's not on the table for where they're at right now. No question.
Not on the table.
If this was 2K, I might take them and give them all 0 minutes. Like, you know what you could do, like, but that's not. You're right. You're right.
But it works in the trade machine.
You're right, but that's where we were differing. Like, you were talking about the realism of the players on the team, and in a vacuum, that doesn't matter. But obviously, it does factor into the context of this situation.
Oh yeah, man, it definitely matters for those guys. So, I mean, what we heard DeMar say that, like, I don't want to be at home. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. So, and the point you make is a really great one. Like, your look around the league. You know what I'm saying? When you do something like that, going back on your word so blatantly. You know what I'm saying? On that tip, that's, again, not a good look. But again, like you said, they're in a real shit position. So that's why I'm like, well, if you're in the shit position, let me look at something that's actually good in that position. What can you do in that position?
Yeah.
All you can do is go to the play-in. That's it. That's the only thing you can really do.
Which Kyle, you described earlier as just cycling in mediocrity.
But if you play it,
I mean,
ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, Vice President of Basketball Ops Arturas Karnashov is, after not doing anything at the trade deadline, said, we will not accept mediocrity.
So I have one question for Big
but
Dave.
we're voting to keep it.
What if it was a guarantee? All right, you either make the play-in or you tank out and you get the top 4 pick. It's not like you're putting the lottery balls in. You know right now if you do that, you steer towards the bottom, you get that bottom 4 pick.
you take the top 4 pick.
Okay.
Without a doubt. If it's a guarantee,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that most people, 100% of people,
Hey, we
probably
guarantee you a top 4 pick in one of the most loaded drafts ever. Yes, I think we'll roll with that.
Because maybe if it's top 4, then it's also top 2, and you get Victor or Scoot.
Exactly. Because then
you're like, okay,
then you can.
Now I feel better about the fact that Zach has late game issues and DeMar and Vooch are aging.
Because for me, then you can accept the whole idea of hope and wishing is if I'm guaranteed in a 4, then I can hope and wish about a 1 or a 2. You know what I mean? Then that's fine because I'm guaranteed I'm gonna get something. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaving with something, as Denzel tell you. I'm leaving with something. You know what I mean? On that tip. But that's just not the reality of where we at. You know what I mean? Where we at is we got to go to the playoffs. That's where we at. So that's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm going with. Let's make this play in, man. That's how I'm rolling.
Can you just put me in a coma till May? How about that?
I actually could, but I care about you, so I will not do that.
Sure, it's safe. People do it all the time. I watched some medical shows.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Sure, it's fine.
I saw Pulp Fiction. Just jam the thing in my chest.
Jam it in there.
Jam it in there.
Okay. Speaking of jamming it in there, we got to quickly run through a couple more shout-outs to our sponsors, and then we'll get to some Super Chats, and hopefully we'll hear from Will the Goat before we head out of here. Tonight's DraftKings King of the Game.
Who it is?
It's DeMar DeRozan. Unfortunately, could not be DeMar DeRozan tonight. Could not be the King in the Fourth tonight. But he still had himself a pretty darn efficient night, and we didn't have to give it to Booker because he didn't score 51 points in 3 quarters. DeMar DeRozan finishes 13 of 18, pretty efficient night for him. On his way to 31 points, also dished out 6 assists, had a couple of steals, did not turn the ball over. That is your DraftKings King of the Game, DeMar DeRozan. One more reminder to use that promo code CHGO when you sign up at DraftKings Sportsbook to get that amazing offer of a $5 bet on any NBA action to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, have fun with those DraftKings no sweat same game parlays. I made one tonight, didn't hit, no worries, no sweat. Got a bonus bet back. It's all good. Make another one in the next game.
He did. He got that.
DraftKings, promo code CHGO.
Yo, Kyle, what time is it?
Game time.
Kyle knows, yo. Kyle knows.
On it.
Watching those championship DVDs paid off.
Ooh, here's a better question for you. Game time Cliff Livingston or game time Randy Brown? Yeah. Ponder that. Ponder that while I read this for you. Game Time, the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Every dream to sit in there, teachers out there never could have video online, course time behind on play, full of tickets to concerts, all possible with the Game Time app.
No one can understand that unless they've been listening to it since the first time you read it.
And appreciate y'all for listening that long. Appreciate you. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought that you could never, ever buy. You won't find better deals this season to see the CHGO Bulls. Created by the fans and for the fans, just like here at CHGO. And they also guarantee you, your beautiful self out there, the lowest price possible. So, if you love CHGO,
and we know you do,
then you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is buying your tickets through the link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. Because Joey Spathis, what time is it?
Game Time. Who?
Okay. Redeemed himself a little bit.
Just a little. He redeemed a little bit. He got the rebound, put that back. That's how he rolled. Okay.
Randy Brown.
Randy Brown. He's going with Randy Brown. All right. Can't be mad. Can't be mad. Can't be mad at that.
Okay, we got some super chats, do we not, Joseph?
Chats that are super.
We know that you do.
You want to read these?
You can read them.
TWW says, if we lose Friday, I'm afraid we are toasted. Been a Bulls fan since 2017, and this is for sure the most painful season for me. Yet for me. Appreciate your content. Thumbs
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate the shout out and the super chat.
I got questions, though.
We have several questions. Okay, question one. It is Friday, and they lost.
Yeah.
You talking about next Friday?
Yeah.
That's my first question.
Right.
What's your question?
My question was 2017 is when you became a Bulls fan? That's what happened? How old are you was in there?
5 years ago? 6 years
And
ago?
what brought you to it? I'm very curious of all this because I've never heard anybody say.
And they're not making fun of you for being a late Bulls fan.
No.
I think they're saying out of all the times you
curious.
chose to become a Bulls fan.
Yeah.
I am wildly curious what happened.
Traded away Jimmy, broke up the three alphas.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
And
Right.
put out a platter full of crap for us to watch.
You
for
saw the
3
ball-headed
seasons.
menace of all those seasons. We saw a near mutiny. And you became I am just wildly curious
Did you
about
say
what brought
somebody
you
at the watch party on Wednesday said that they
Yes.
became a Bulls fan because of our show?
This is true. Yeah, shout out to those guys, man.
Maybe
the
they
three
know
brothers.
each other.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they know each other. Because he said I became a
We've
Bulls
been doing
fan
this since
because of the
2017
show.
at least.
Yeah, at least.
There's a correlation.
There might be something there, Kyle. There might be something there. But that is very interesting, man. I'm curious to know what the TWW podcast feels about that.
Pride Rice said, found Jim Boylan. Became a Bulls fan in 2017.
I'm going to allow
He
that
says
name to
he's
be
19. He's 19 years old. He chose the Bulls because of Jimmy.
Okay.
And he meant this upcoming Sunday if they lose this
Okay.
upcoming Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
then they traded him immediately. And you
Yeah.
stayed,
So
and that's
became
awesome.
a Bulls fan because of Jimmy, traded Jimmy, and then you stuck with the Bulls.
Appreciate that.
That would have been a whirlwind, though.
respect.
Then becoming a Timberwolves fan,
Yeah.
and then becoming a Philly Sixers fan,
Correct.
and then becoming a Miami Heat. That all sounds terrible.
Correct.
Sounds like a lot of traveling.
Yeah,
A lot, man.
That's a lot of traveling.
A lot
and
of
a
stuff
lot
right
of
there.
rooting for just either junk or obnoxious teams. Minnesota, pass. Philly, hard pass. Miami, F off.
Oh.
God, I would hate to be a fan of any of those teams.
Oh, man. Yeah, the fans missed you, Peck.
Also, the Duke says, been a Bulls fan since I was swimming around in my daddy's testes.
All right.
This team
Why you read that so calm? I like that. Yo,
Wow.
you're so calm about that.
this team needs to build through the draft. Jerry won't buy us anything nice. Hashtag it's over.
Yo,
I don't disagree with the sentiment, but the first part of his comment still.
again, I have
mean,
questions. That
yeah.
does not tell me how old you are, how long you've been a Bulls fan, because I'm pretty sure all of us were doing that before we came, you know what I'm saying, about it on this earth.
Sure. I know that my dad was a Bulls fan before I was born.
Yeah.
He and my mom were living here in the suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
With raising my two older siblings.
Shout out.
It was the mid '80s. Young MJ was all the rage. But as a little
Like
piece of
my-
sperm, I didn't know what was going on.
I had no clue. My dad was not a Bulls fan. My mom was. She was definitely a Bulls fan. My dad was not at all.
I was in my daddy's testes when they raised the 6th banner. So
Yo.
I came into this world when they were trying to rebuild with Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler, Jamal Crawford. That
Oh
era.
my
Oh,
good God.
So that wasn't the time. I got nightmares about that.
sorry about that,
Yeah.
man. Well,
It's
don't have
okay,
nightmares
though.
about this because Quaff King is in the building.
Oh. Oh.
That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
I swear to God, I love that more every time I hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the one and only Will the GOAT Gottlieb to join us on the GOAT Talk Hotline.
Go Talk.
Follow him on Twitter, Will_Gottlieb. He is at the UC tonight following tonight's Bulls loss to the Suns. Will, we were talking about how this Suns offense just seems all kinds of unfair, and that even a at least statistically impressive Bulls defense recently couldn't find a way to slow down that freight train. What about you?
Oh, hold on, Goat. Can't hear you. Hold
nope,
on.
we can't hear you.
Hold on 1 second, Goat. Having a little technical difficulties. We're going to get that straight.
I don't know if it's Will's fault or Joey's fault.
We're going to get that straight. Well, be careful.
I think. Wait, talk again, Will.
Hold on now. We're going to
No?
get that straight together, man. We're going to get
There we
that.
go. Yeah, here we go. We got him.
Go ahead, go.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls like played good defense. I was watching this game thinking like, man, they're like rotating, they're trying to get out there and execute. And there were a couple of plays that stood out early on where Patrick Williams like basically touched Kevin Durant's hand while closing out on him, and Kevin Durant just made the shot because he's Kevin Durant. And so I think like with this team, there's only so much you can do. I think they had like a 141 offensive rating this game, which like no team is going to be able to compete with offensively, and no team is going to be able to slow down. So Billy Donovan gave some pretty good detailed answers about like what happened in the course of their defensive possessions that were like, I don't even want to say breakdowns because it wasn't like they did something wrong, but like when you're playing against a team like that, you have to sacrifice things. If Kevin Durant is posting up at the elbow, then you have to send help. You can't just like let him play one-on-one on an island. You're gonna like, especially if he's going against Alex Caruso or Patrick Beverley, these smaller guys, he's gonna shoot right over him. So you have to send help. When you send help, somebody's got to rotate. When they rotate, the next guy has to rotate. When that person rotates, then your big has to get out to the weak side corner. And oftentimes it's Josh Okogie, who's going like 19 of 19 on threes tonight, or Damian Lee, 96% three-point shooter. And so it was like, man, they just have so many weapons. They have so many ways to beat you. And at the end of the day, they have Kevin freaking Durant, who can just be Kevin freaking Durant in your face. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, I do think the Bulls competed. It was not one of those games where they just rolled over or anything like that. They just got out-talented and out-mathed.
Yeah, that's how I felt watching it, Will. It was just like, this team is just better than you. Like, I wasn't even mad or anything watching. Of course, I wanted to win, but it's just like, dude, they're better. Like, from the beginning when they ran the play, the beautiful play from Durant to Ayton inside for the dunk, like, you're just watching them, out-execute you, and out. Like you were saying, Kyle, like those 50-50 balls, those loose balls, like they were getting everything to bounce their way. And you kind of have to play perfect basketball against a team like that, and you have to have shooting. And those are two things like the Bulls are really struggling at right now. They don't play that perfect basketball, and they don't have that shooting, Will.
And that's exactly what Billy said. He's, you're looking at 7 of 23 for the Bulls on three-pointers, 30%. Obviously, the percentage isn't good, but like 23 attempts is just simply not enough when you're getting doubled up 20 of 47 for the Suns. Like, it's just impossible to compete with that. And Billy was saying, like, unless you're getting an enormous amount of offensive rebounds or getting to the free throw line a million times, like, you just can't do it. They don't offensive rebound. I think they're the second worst offensive rebounding team. A lot of that is by design because they want to get back in transition. So you just have to rely on free throws. Well, the Suns had as many free throws as they did and made more of them. So it was just a recipe for failure in a lot of ways. I think this begs the question of like this larger philosophical identity, question of like, can this team work together? Like, can they compete at a high level if they have so many problems competing with teams that are just going to shoot more threes, get to the free throw line more, and out execute?
Will, I know that you were there at shoot around this morning when they were talking with Vooch about the whole dust up, let's say, between him and Pat Bev in their game before this one. Dave mentioned that he saw them getting at least involved in some animated conversations going to the bench a couple of times tonight. Was there anything else about that in the locker room at all tonight, or have they as individuals and have the Bulls collectively as a team moved past whatever that drama was?
Didn't even seem like there was drama. I don't know. I couldn't see anything from my vantage point at the game tonight with those two. So can't really speak to that. But as far as, last game, whenever it was, Wednesday night against the Pistons, that was like one of those moments where they just kind of disagreed on the play call. The Bulls, Vooch actually gave a really detailed response on like what their coverage was in that situation. Basically, they're trying to top block Bojan Bogdanovic, and what that means is you get on the top side of him so that you're basically standing in between him and the basket, sort of fronting him in that way so that he can't get off any threes, because at the time he was like 8 for 12 on threes. They're trying to take that away. And so Vooch was out there to try to help out on that assignment. And at that point, that's when Jaden Ivey took off. So they just had like a little disagreement about it. They put it behind them pretty quickly. And then, it just kind of blew up on the internet. So I don't think they were that concerned about it. I don't think they really have any sort of larger issues other than like it's frustrating to give up points and they have to figure out a way to stop that.
Well, we saw Patrick Williams get the starting nod tonight, obviously to try to compete with Kevin Durant. I thought he played solidly in the first half, and then in the second half, it was Kevin Durant. Like, it's honestly, I don't know what you could do with that. You do the best you can. Going forward, though, are you thinking this is what it's going to be for the Bulls? Like, it would just be matchup dependent as far as their starting lineup?
Yeah, Billy was asked that question after, and he kind of said maybe. Potentially. I think that they will kind of mix it up. There's only so much you can do against Kevin Durant, but you do need some length. And obviously, Patrick Williams is, significantly taller and longer than Caruso or Patrick Beverley. So they kind of needed him out there for this assignment. But it does strike me, just because they tried it out in this game, as something that they'll maybe be a little bit more flexible with down the line here. But at the end of the day, like, they had their best lineup in their starting lineup from the last couple of games with Caruso and Beverley out there to close the first half. They went on a 16-1 run in 4.5 minutes and got themselves ahead going into the half. And they used that same lineup down the stretch. Obviously didn't get the same result, but I do think regardless of who's starting, Billy feels the most comfortable with that unit.
You got anything for him?
I wanted to ask you from an execution standpoint, with the Phoenix Suns offense and the Bulls defense, what did you notice from their actions to kind of get all of their big guys, Booker, KD, and Ayton, involved in, the offense and not let it get to a stagnant point?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the thing that stood out to me was just the pace that they moved through their sets with, like really getting into those dribble handoffs, making sure there was a ton of speed coming around pin downs so that, the guy defending the screener has to step out and hedge against Kevin Durant. So that opens up the lane for the runway dunk from Ayton, which is the play you were just alluding to, Dave. Like, they play with so much pace, and that forces you to have to make quick decisions. It forces you out of position, and it just mixes it up. Like, they also have times where they're just going to isolate. You have three of the best, isolation mid-range players in the game, in the history of the game. And so they can go to that. But I think having that sort of diversity of speed, that diversity of pace in their offense is really, really lethal.
There was a part during the broadcast when Stacey was really nitpicking the Bulls about, in his opinion, unnecessarily double teaming KD on the block a couple of times, on the baseline one time, saying because they're committing to this double on KD, they're leaving open these huge long gaps for their closers to get to closeouts. Mm-hmm. And, that's, the Suns chucked up 47 threes. Plenty of them were good open looks. You mentioned that KD and Booker each hit a couple of very difficult contested shots, which is true. But their three-point shooters also got a lot of clean open looks. Stacey seemed peeved by that. I don't know. Maybe if you look at three is more than two, would you rather see whoever it is, Patrick Williams or otherwise, do their best to D-up Kevin Durant one-on-one and maybe try and force him into a difficult two-point shot and put a greater emphasis on closing out on those shooters?
You got to pick your poison with these guys.
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes them so dangerous is because it's not just like the one possession in a vacuum. Like, would you rather give Josh Okogie a corner three or Kevin Durant an elbow jumper? It's like over the course of a game, that stuff compiles. Like, Kevin Durant gets hot. That's so much more dangerous than an open three in the corner from a rotation guy. So they came into this game with a game plan of getting the ball out of Durant's hands. And Billy Donovan, after the game, mentioned Booker put 50 on him in 3 quarters a couple months ago. So they're not messing around with that. They got 71 from Donovan Mitchell. They got 40 something from Dame. They're not messing around with these guys that are just game-breaking shooters to give them 50 plus. They're just not doing it. And so you have to rotate. I think they're a good rotation team. Patrick Williams was saying that after the game too. They are good. They contest hard. They get out there. They execute their rotations. But that is kind of like the trade-off. When you're going to double and get the ball out of Kevin Durant's hands, it's going to result in some open threes. And I think the idea was let's just make the role players beat us here and not let Kevin Durant get going.
Will, I don't know if you saw it, but There was a moment in the game when Patrick Beverley and Chris Paul were, on each other, and Chris Paul kind of threw a punch at him, you know what I'm saying, in the special regions. Was Patrick Beverley talked to about this? Was he asked about this?
No, Patrick Beverley was doing some lifting or something else after the game, so we didn't get a chance to talk with him. I saw that people were talking about that. I didn't see the play, but does it really surprise anyone?
No, not at all.
Sure doesn't surprise me.
Not one bit at all. It was just super dirty, man. It really was.
It's a shame. Will, never a shame when you come by post game when you're at the UC and share your insights with us. Bulls are home again on Sunday, correct? So we won't see you Sunday?
We will not. But I'm Matt. I'm very glad to see you. It's been a while, and I'm glad you're feeling better.
Hi, buddy. I'm alive. I missed you. I missed your beautiful face. Is that beautiful Will Gottlieb hair was just urging me back to life this whole time. One of many things.
You're saving souls out here, Will.
Dave's laugh.
You're saving souls.
Joey's wry smile.
What about Kyle?
Kyle's youthful exuberance.
There you go. He's got a million of them, baby.
Everybody, make sure you're reading everything our guy Will the Goat writes on our website, allchgo.com. Follow him for all of his Bulls updates, Will_Gottlieb.
Adults.
You're close to Will 10K at this point, aren't you? I've been seeing that following jump up.
It's creeping. It's creeping.
It's the race between 10K and 1K.
You're a loser.
Oh, man.
Is that directed at Will or me?
No, it's at Will. What?
I haven't lost yet.
Oh, my goodness. All right, that's it. We'll get out of here. Everybody enjoy the first part of your weekend. Be safe. Have fun. No pregame Sunday. Bulls matinee tip-off at home against the Pacers. We will be here in studio for postgame. We will see you then. In the meantime, Will_Gottlieb cover that. Follow Joey Spathis at Joey Spathis. Follow our guy, Kyle Williams. Thanks again for stopping by, Kyle.
Of course.
Always a pleasure. K_Williams Media. Big Dave. Bow. BAWL Sports.
In your face.
I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Until Sunday. Appreciate you, Bulls Nation. Hit that thumb. See you, be good.
Peace.